Hello there everyone, my name is Dex Kamitan and today we're going to talk about loving yourself. With everything that happened in the past year, it's easy to just wish that we can just return the whole of 2020 and 2021 and get a refund from it. Sana may money back guarantee, di ba? RIP sa prediction ni Master Hans na magiging lucky ang 2020. Without a question, none of us was expecting to have 2020 start in such a chaotic manner. First, Taal volcano erupted in January, and it was downhill since then. Because of the COVID-19 global pandemic, within days, hours even, we experienced sudden and unexpected disruptions in our social, economic, and psychological lives. Added to the fear of contracting the virus are the significant changes to our lives as our movements are restricted in support of efforts to contain and slow down the spread of the virus. Faced with the new realities of working from home, temporary unemployment, and homeschooling, and syempre the lack of physical contact with other family members, friends, and colleagues, it's important that we look at our mental as well as our physical health. Now, the scenes that we are witnessing this past few months, this year, around the world are distressing and unfortunately are here to stay for the unforeseeable future. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, and it's no surprise that people are feeling increasingly anxious and stressed. It's no wonder that many of us are struggling with maintaining our mental well being during these difficult times. Prescription drugs are our society's quick fix solution for people struggling with mental health issues. But in the long run, such short term solutions often do more harm than good. Countless studies have revealed that in most cases, prescription drugs are only partially and temporarily effective. Drugs such as Prozac, Zoloft, and Lexapro do have a significant impact on 65% of patients. But this number becomes less impressive when you consider that the placebo effect has the same impact on 55% of patients. If this is the case, the question remains, how can we see some light in the world considering our current state of gloom and doom? And the answer is in positive psychology. Now, this is an approach centered on improving well being, happiness, and enjoyment in life. Positive psychology is the scientific study of valued subjective experiences, including well being, contentment, and satisfaction in the past, hope and optimism for the future, and flow and happiness in the present. Traditionally, a major focus of psychology has been to relieve human suffering. Since World War II, great strides have been made in the understanding and treatment of mental health disorders. Relieving suffering, however, is not the same as flourishing. People want to thrive and not just survive. And the skills that build flourishing are different from the skills that alleviate suffering. Removing the disabling condition is not the same as building the enabling conditions that make life most worth living. Now, the words flourishing and well-being are used interchangeably, and we do not use the word happiness because it means different things to different people. Suffering and well-being are both part of the human condition, and psychology should care about each. Human strengths, excellence, and flourishing are just as authentic as human distress. People want to cultivate the best versions of themselves and live a meaningful life. They want to grow their capacities for love and compassion, creativity and curiosity, work and resilience, and integrity and wisdom. Now, boosting your happiness and well being sounds like a relatively clear goal, but try to define what happiness and well beings really are, and the picture becomes a little more complex. Even philosophers struggled with the question of well-being and how to achieve it. While Aristotle argued that the central goal of human life was maximizing human happiness, Nietzsche believed that a hunger for power underlay all human pursuits, including that of happiness. Freud, on the other hand, was convinced that our desire for well-being was simply the result of our determination to avoid anxiety. Though each of these theories have a rather specific conception of what well-being is, they still fail to capture the subtleties and nuances of this incredibly complex phenomenon. Well-being simply cannot be reduced to single variables. It's neither the weather nor freedom that mainly influences our well-being. Rather, a whole range of different factors shape our happiness, often without us realizing it. Martin Seligman, this person right here, one of the founders of positive psychology, developed a 5 core element of psychological well-being and happiness. Seligman believes that positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment can help people work toward a life of fulfillment, happiness, and meaning. Now, positive emotion refers to those great feelings we all love to experience: warmth, pleasure, comfort, ecstasy, and so on. Is your life full of these wonderful emotions? If so, you're leading what's called a pleasant life. Now, this element is perhaps the most obvious connection to happiness. Focusing on positive emotions is more than just smiling. It is the ability to remain optimistic and view one's past, present, and future from a constructive perspective. A positive view can help in relationships and work, and inspire others to be more creative and take more chances. In everyone's life, there are highs and lows. Focusing on the lows does not increase your chances, or rather does increase your chances of developing depression. Although the equation for depression is very complicated. Regardless, there are many health benefits to optimism and positivity. How do you distinguish between pleasure and enjoyment for this? Pleasure is connected to satisfying bodily needs for survival, such as thirst, hunger, sleep, and even sex. Whereas enjoyment comes from intellectual stimulation and creativity. When a child completes a complex Lego car that requires their concentration, for example, they might beam with joy and satisfaction from their work. This type of positive emotion is crucial. It can help people enjoy the daily tasks in their lives and preserve with, or rather persevere with, challenges they will face by remaining optimistic about eventual outcomes. Engagement, on the other hand, has more to do with the concept of flow, the experience we have while completely absorbed in a task. When doing something we love, whether it's playing video games, practicing an instrument, or playing sports, flow make us feel like time is flying by and can even make us forget about ourselves completely. Activities that meet our need for engagement flood the body with positive neurotransmitters and hormones that elevate one's sense of well-being. This engagement helps us remain present, as well as synthesize the activities where we find calm, focus, and joy. We all need something in our lives to absorb us into our current moment, creating a flow of blissful immersion into the task or activity. This blissful emotion, or this type of flow of engagement, stretches our intelligence, skill, and emotional capabilities. Positive relationships is about building a vibrant and varied social life filled with friends we love and trust. Great relationships are actually the best natural antidepressants. the present. So it's no surprise that those who benefit from strong friendships lead far happier lives. Relationships and social connections are crucial to meaningful lives. Too often, the pursuit of happiness has this Western bias of individuality where each person steers their personal happiness ship to shore. This is not realistic. We are social animals who are hardwired to bond and depend on other humans. Hence, the basic need for healthy relationships. We thrive on connections that promote love, intimacy, a strong connection or emotional and physical interaction with other humans. Positive relationships with one's parents, siblings, peers, co-workers, and friends, or even classmates is a key ingredient to overall joy. Strong relationships also provide support in difficult times that require resilience. Meaning entails a sense of belonging and the will to serve a cause you believe in. From fighting for social justice or environmental sustainability to giving your time and skill to a community pantry that you relate to. A meaning is what gives you a feeling of fulfillment and pride. Now, having an answer to the question, why are we on this earth, is a key ingredient that can drive us towards fulfillment. Religion and spirituality provides many people with meaning, as can working for a good company, raising children, volunteering for a greater cause, and experiencing or expressing ourselves creatively. Unfortunately, the media worships glamour and the pursuit of material wealth, impacting many people to feel like money is the gateway to happiness. While we do need money to pay for basic needs, once those basic needs are met and financial stress is not an issue, money is not what provides people with happiness. Understanding the impact of your work and why you chose to show up um, uh, at the office or in class may help you enjoy the task and become more satisfied with what you do. Whether you work in an office or not, or you study inside your house, think of what you spend most of your time doing. What does the activity provide you with? Lastly, accomplishment is winning for winning's sake. Feelings of success and achievement are the deciding factors in our happiness these days. Accomplishment in our job, in our passion, and in our communities are sure to give our well-being a boost. Having goals and ambitions in life can help us to achieve things that can give us a sense of accomplishment. You should make realistic goals that can be met, and just putting in this effort to achieve those goals can already give you a sense of satisfaction when you finally achieve those goals. A sense of pride and fulfillment will be reached. Having accomplishment in life is important to push ourselves to thrive and flourish. Now, last May, May last year, my fiance and I finished a research on the importance of PERMA, the well-being elements that we have talked about earlier, on resiliency of individuals who are community quarantined. The link to the article can be found here or in the or rather on the description section of this video. We found that the 5 pillars of well-being are necessary conditions of resilience. This means that optimum resilience is only possible when all pillars of well-being are taken care of, and that deficiencies in certain areas of well-being may not be addressed by overcompensating on other areas. This means that you cannot focus all your energies on just one or several pillars of PERMA and neglect some of the pillars and then expect to live a flourishing life. In order for you to achieve that, balance is the key. Now, The question now is, how can we harness the power of positive psychology in our lives, especially when we are dealing with distance learning? First, you may want to practice gratitude. Now, the state of the world and of human behavior can seem quite bleak at this point in time. News report of corruption and disinformation, red tagging, not to mention treating frontline workers in cruel ways can be disheartening. Yet, in times of crisis, we have seen a good side to people and to the situation. Here's some silver lining of the coronavirus cloud. Communities are rallying together. We have seen a number of community pantries being put up by people all around the Philippines. And this is to support the vulnerable and our frontline workers by paying it forward, helping others out, and supporting local businesses to stay afloat during these challenging times. Also, online learning and entertainment options are growing, with many providers releasing free resources to learn while in quarantine or to celebrate and connect while practicing social distancing. You see, gratitude is more important now than ever, and training your minds to focus on the positivities in this world during these challenging times can help our well-being and mental health. Gratitude also helps us to find meaning and purpose to the changes to our routines in the face of quarantines and restrictions. We are doing this, after all, for the greater good, even if it means inconveniences. Here's how we can all achieve gratitude. Practice gratitude at regular times throughout the day, not just once a day. Try it when you wake up, at each meal, and also at the end of each day. You may want to use the following prompts. Ask yourself, what am I grateful for? Or what made me smile today? Or what was something unexpectedly good today? What was the highlight of my day? And what made me laugh today? Why not try to introduce daily reflections and gratitude practices within your household? Not only can this be a good way of checking in your loved ones, it can also help you gain insights to what they might be going through these days. Number two is, be your own bestie with self-compassion. In times of crisis, we often see ourselves rallying together to support others. This might include creating care packages for colleagues, supporting local businesses, or putting up community pantries. But how often do we actively take time to stop and look after ourselves? The answer for most is not a lot. Yet research point to self-compassion being closely related to resilience and the ability to regulate our own emotions. So how can we look after ourselves as well as others during these unprecedented times? You may want to try the following. Shift your thinking and approach looking after yourself the way you would treat a good friend. Check in with yourself regularly and encourage self-care as a priority rather than something you do when you have spare time. You may want to show some kindness. Being in quarantine, social distancing, or having your regular outlets of mood management taken away can mean you're not coping. Forget pushing yourself during quarantine to be as happy, sociable, or productive as before. Quarantine has brought canceled plans, missed experiences, and even isolation. These are hard, and it's important to acknowledge that it's okay to grieve and recognize that these are disappointing. For those now working from home, it's also important to note that you are not working from home. You are at home during a crisis, trying to work or trying to study. So number three is, try to have fun. While there are a lot of scary and heartbreaking events happening currently, It's helpful to strive to maximize the pleasurable life by actively doing things that may make us happy and lift our moods during these tough times. Make and share happy memories with friends. Post throwback pictures, host a virtual Zumba session with friends, or play online games with them. Building shared experiences during these extraordinary times is what will help cement social connections. Exercise to get endorphins going for a mood boost. Do a virtual dance, or even, as I have mentioned earlier, a Zumba class. Run on the spot. Do push-ups in your living room. Do lunges in your kitchen. Just get moving for your mood. It has significant benefit or beneficial effects for mild to moderate depression. Also, you may want to get intrigued. Get hooked on a new series, a podcast, or book, or you may want to learn a new skill. Engage in self-care. Do things that make you feel good, even when social distancing or working from home. Get out of your sweatpants and or loungewear and put on your favorite outfit. It can make a world of difference to your mood. You may also want to laugh. Whether it's funny cat videos, binge watching Netflix comedies, or turning your driveway into a runway on bin day, laughter can sometimes really be great medicine. Number four is to play your strength. Positive psychology focuses heavily on building on strengths to boost well-being. We all have particular strengths, and we are in our element and engaged when we utilize these strengths. But what might this look like in coronavirus times? If your strength is kindness, you can focus on acts that show your care for others. For example, putting up community pantries, or doing the shopping for a vulnerable person who to limit their exposure to the virus. Cooking a meal for a frontline worker who may have been exhausted after draining shifts at work, or paying it forward at a cafe for a health worker. If your strength is leadership, perhaps you can use this to steer your classmates or batchmates or even your team in adapting to change. If your strength is creativity, perhaps thinking of different ways to pivot when it comes to how you work and play. Number five is to connect with others. The power of positive relationships and social connections cannot be underestimated at a time when social distancing has become the norm. We're seeing the elderly in isolation for the benefit of their health, extended families unable to share hugs, and loved ones stuck in other countries and in other part of our nation. Yet, now it's more important than ever to stay connected, as social distancing and isolation have the potential for loneliness. You see, physical and psychological health effects of loneliness are concerning. Some relevant findings include loneliness has been suggested to increase the likelihood of mortality by 29%, making it even more dangerous than obesity. Loneliness has been linked to several adverse physical health outcomes, like increased likelihood of heart disease, stroke, and problems with the immune system. Higher levels of loneliness have been linked to adverse psychological well-being and poorer quality of life too. And if you're finding it hard to find the feel-good factor at this point in time, please reach out. If you're not coping, be sure to speak to someone, whether that is a loved one, a trusted friend, a hotline, your counselor, or a mental health professional. So, as a final note, well, prescription drugs, wealth, and high IQ aren't the factors that make us happy. Happy and successful people, positive emotions, engagement, accomplishment, meaning and social relationships are what matters. By exploring positive psychology exercises in our lives, we can give ourselves the well-being we deserve. If you want an actionable advice, give thanks. Simply exercise, or rather, simple exercises are all it takes to improve your well being. Now, the gratitude letter is one of these. Write a letter of gratitude to somebody who helped you without asking for anything in return. You may want to take 300 words to express your appreciation in a concrete way. You may want to detail how their friend, or rather how their help affected your life and why you still reflect upon it today. Let the recipient read it while you're there, and watch as positive feelings unfold for both of you. Lastly, as a personal favor to me, may I ask you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Again, my name is Dex Kamitan, and thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day today.